The smoking ruins of Nova Centauri stretched before Marcus Vega like a monument to futility. As a combat medic for the Terran Defense Force, he had patched up soldiers on a dozen battlefields. But this was different. The Aerodani forces had fought with unexpected ferocity, leaving nothing but devastation across the lunar colony. Echo Bravo, this is command. Report status, over. The voice crackled through his helmet comm. Marcus stepped over a shattered section of habitation dome. Command, Echo Bravo. Sector 4 clear of Terran survivors. Moving to Sector 5. Copy that. Be advised, extraction in 40 minutes. Mark any Aerodani for containment teams. Understood, Marcus replied, the words tasting like ash in his mouth. Standard procedure, save humans. Tag aliens. His medical oath had never specified species, but command had made their priorities clear. A faint shimmer caught his eye. An iridescent blue gleam beneath a collapsed shuttle wing. Drawing his sidearm cautiously, Marcus approached. What he found made him holster his weapon immediately. An Aerodani female lay half buried under the wreckage, her luminous silver-blue blood pooling around her slender form. Unlike the warriors he'd encountered with their battle carapaces, she wore what appeared to be scientific attire. Her normally pearl-white skin had dulled to an ashen gray, and the bioluminescent markings that typically adorned Aerodani faces were flickering weakly. Her eyes, all pupil like liquid mercury, fluttered open, locking onto his with primal fear. I'm not here to hurt you, Marcus said gently, kneeling beside her. His medical scanner hummed as he assessed her injuries, multiple fractures, severe internal bleeding, and damage to her neural pathways, the crystalline network that served as both circulatory and nervous system for Aerodani. Without immediate intervention, she had minutes at most. Marcus hesitated only briefly before making his decision. Command won't help you, he murmured, more to himself than to her. But I will. From his field kit, he withdrew a case labeled, Prototype, Authorized Personnel Only, an experimental neurocybernetic system he'd been field testing on human trauma patients. The technology was designed to bridge damaged neural pathways using nanite-infused alloys, but it had never been tested on alien physiology. This might be your only chance, he told the dying Aerodani as he prepared the injection. Her mercury eyes watched him, uncomprehending yet somehow trusting. The procedure was riskier than anything he'd attempted before. Marcus worked with practiced precision, inserting the nanite alloy at critical junctions where her crystalline pathways had been damaged. The silvery substance flowed into her wounds, seeking out broken connections. For several agonizing moments, nothing happened. Then her body convulsed violently, back arching as the nanites integrated with her alien biology. Blue-white light pulsed beneath her skin in geometric patterns, spreading outward from the injection sites. Command to Echo Bravo. Status update. Marcus ignored the call, transfixed by the transformation before him. The nanites were adapting to her physiology in ways he'd never seen, creating new pathways, enhancing existing ones. Her wounds began closing visibly, the silver-blue blood reabsorbing into her body. When her eyes opened again, they were different. Still mercury, but with intricate patterns of light swirling within them. She gasped, drawing in a ragged breath. You saved me, she spoke, her voice melodic and halting, the universal translator in Marcus' helmet struggling with her dialect. I couldn't let you die, he answered simply. A warning blared through his comm, alert all units. Unauthorized cybernetic activity detected in Sector 5. Containment teams dispatched. The Aerodani female tensed, understanding dawning in those mercurial eyes. They will destroy me, and you for helping me. Marcus made another life-altering decision in that moment. Helping her to her feet, he said, my name is Marcus. We need to go now. Thala, she replied, taking his outstretched hand. My name is Thala. The stolen Terran shuttle shuddered as Marcus pushed it beyond safe velocities, the navigation console flashing urgent warnings. Behind them, Nova Centauri grew smaller, while 3 military vessels gave chase. "They're gaining," Thala observed, her mercurial eyes scanning the readouts with unexpected proficiency. The cybernetic enhancements had integrated with her neural pathways in ways Marcus couldn't have predicted, giving her an intuitive understanding of human technology. "Can you access the defense systems?" Marcus asked, hands dancing across the flight controls. Thala hesitated only briefly before placing her palm against the weapon's interface. Silver blue light pulsed beneath her skin as nanites facilitated a direct connection. "Yes," she whispered, sounding both amazed and frightened by her new abilities. A warning shot blazed past their viewport. "Attention rogue vessel," a stern voice commanded over the comms. "This is Captain Jansen of the TDF Relentless. Power down and prepare to be boarded." Marcus exchanged a look with Thala. "If they take us, you'll be dissected, and I'll face execution for treason." "Then we must not be taken," she replied, her voice gaining strength. With a thought, she deployed the shuttle's countermeasures, creating a cloud of electromagnetic interference that temporarily blinded their pursuers' sensors. Marcus seized the opportunity, plotting a desperate course through the asteroid field ahead. "Hold on." The shuttle careened between massive rocks, scraping its hull more than once. When they emerged on the other side, their pursuers were nowhere to be seen. For the first time since their escape, they both breathed easier. Marcus slumped in his seat, the adrenaline crash leaving him exhausted. "You risked everything for me," Thala said softly, studying his face with curious intensity. "I don't understand why." "Because it was the right thing to do," Marcus replied simply. "The war between our people, it never made sense to me. We're different, but not so different that we can't coexist." Thala's luminescent markings pulsed gently as she processed his words. "My people say humans are savage, driven by conquest. Yet you showed mercy when no one would have known the difference. And my people say the Aridani are cold, calculating machines without emotion," Marcus countered with a tired smile. "Yet I see compassion in your eyes." An awkward silence fell between them, broken only by the soft hum of the shuttle's engines. Finally, Thala spoke again. "Where will we go? Both our worlds will hunt us now. There's a trading outpost called Nexus Point in the borderlands. Different species, no questions asked. We can hide there while we figure out our next move." As Thala nodded, her hand inadvertently brushed against his. The contact sent a strange tingling sensation up Marcus's arm, something electrical but not unpleasant. She pulled back quickly, her markings flashing in what he recognized as the Aerodani equivalent of a blush. "I'm sorry," she murmured. "The nanites, they create unexpected connections." "It's all right," Marcus assured her, surprised to find himself wondering what another touch might feel like. Over the next 3 days in the confines of the small shuttle, they learned to navigate not just space but their growing awareness of each other. Thala's natural reserve gradually softened as she shared stories of her life as a xenobiologist studying human culture from afar. Marcus spoke of his childhood on Earth's last rainforest preserve and his hope that medicine might bridge worlds rather than just heal wounds. At night, while Marcus slept, Thala watched the stars streak by and contemplated the strange twist of fate that had bound her life to this human's. The nanites hummed beneath her skin, changing her in ways she was only beginning to understand. She could feel them connecting to the shuttle systems, expanding her awareness. More disturbing was how they seemed to attune her to Marcus, his heartbeat, his breathing, his dreams. When a nightmare jolted him awake on the third night, Thala was already at his side. "You were calling out," she explained. "Old battlefield memories," Marcus muttered, embarrassed. Thala hesitated, then slowly placed her hand over his. This time they both welcomed the tingling connection that formed between them, a bridge across the stars. Nexus Point rose before them like a mechanical lotus, its petals formed of docking bays and habitat rings extending from a central hub. Ships of every conceivable design swarmed around it, from sleek Centurion cruisers to bulky freighters. "Stay close," Marcus warned as they disembarked, pulling a hood over Thala's distinctive features. There are informants for both our governments here. They moved through crowded marketplaces where a dozen different species haggled over exotic goods. Thala's enhanced senses overwhelmed her, the cacophony of languages, the riot of scents, the press of bodies. Marcus noticed her distress and took her hand, his steady presence anchoring her amid the chaos. Using the last of his emergency credits, Marcus secured a small room in the station's residential district, an area populated by outcasts and refugees like themselves. Their quarters were cramped but clean, with a single bed and basic amenities. "You take the bed," Marcus offered that first night. "I'll sleep on the floor." Thala tilted her head, studying him with those mercurial eyes. "Your human customs are strange. The space is adequate for both." Marcus felt heat rise to his face. "It's not about space. It's about propriety." "Ah." Thala's markings pulsed with understanding. "You fear intimate proximity might lead to mating behaviors." Marcus choked on air. That's not exactly how I would have put it." A sound like crystal wind chimes filled the room. Thala was laughing. It was the first time he'd heard it, and Marcus found himself smiling in response. "I will not seduce you in your sleep, Marcus Vega," she assured him, her expression turning serious. "Though I find your form not unpleasing." They ended up sharing the bed, lying back to back, acutely aware of each other's presence throughout the night. Days turned to weeks as they established a routine. Marcus found work as an unlicensed medic in the station's lower levels, treating those who couldn't afford official care. Thala stayed hidden, her abilities growing in ways that both fascinated and frightened her. One evening, Marcus returned to find her surrounded by floating orbs of blue-white light. "What are you doing?" he asked, amazed. Thala's concentration didn't waver. "The nanites have reached a new integration phase. I can manipulate energy fields now, even separate from my body." Marcus watched as she gathered the light back into herself. "Is it painful?" "No," she replied. "But it's changing me. I'm becoming something neither Adani nor machine." Her mercury eyes met his. "Does that frighten you?" Marcus moved closer, taking her hands in his. "You're still you, Thala. The rest is just evolution." The touch ignited the familiar tingling connection, but stronger now. Marcus gasped as he felt her emotions flowing into him, fear, wonder, and something warmer, directed at him. "I can feel what you feel," he whispered, astonished. Thala nodded. "Another development. The nanites create pathways between us." Their faces were inches apart now, drawn together by forces neither fully understood. When their lips met, the connection exploded into something transcendent, a bridge between two beings who should have been enemies but had become something far more important to each other. The kiss deepened, tentative at first, then hungry with discovery. Thala's markings glowed brilliantly in the dimness of their room, casting patterns of light across Marcus' skin. But their moment of connection was shattered by a harsh pounding at the door. "Station security. Open up." They escaped through maintenance tunnels, Thala using her enhanced abilities to short out security systems as they fled. Reports from information terminals throughout the station confirmed their worst fears. Both Terran and Adani special forces had converged on Nexus Point, with orders to capture or kill them. "How did they find us?" Marcus panted as they ducked into an abandoned storage bay. "Someone betrayed us," Thala replied, her markings pulsing with agitation. "The doctor you worked with, perhaps?" A slow clap echoed through the chamber. "Very perceptive, specimen E7. They whirled to find a man in an unmarked black uniform emerging from the shadows. Behind him stood armed operatives and, more shockingly, an Aerodani official in ceremonial attire. "Director Krell," Marcus growled, recognizing the head of Terran military intelligence. "Should have known you'd be behind this." "Behind what, exactly?" Krell smiled coldly. "The successful integration of cybernetic technology with Aerodani physiology. The creation of the perfect weapon." Yes, I'm behind that. The Aerodani official stepped forward. Archon Vess, Thala gasped, recognizing one of her people's highest leaders. The experiment proceeded exactly as planned, Vess stated emotionlessly, though we did not anticipate the attachment that would form. Understanding dawned on Marcus with sickening clarity. This was all orchestrated. The battle? Thala's injuries? My presence? Not entirely, Krell admitted. We knew your ethical flexibility had limits. So we had to create a scenario where you would break protocol in exactly the right way. Your compassion was predictable. You used us both. Thala's voice trembled with rage as energy crackled around her hands. For a greater purpose, Vess interjected. Our species have been at war for decades. Neither can achieve victory without catastrophic losses. So you created me as a weapon. Thala concluded, the pieces falling into place. A prototype, Krell corrected. Once we understand how the integration worked so perfectly with you, we can create armies of enhanced soldiers. The perfect fusion of Aerodani biology and Terran technology. Enough talk, Vess commanded. Secure them. As soldiers moved in, Thala locked eyes with Marcus. In that instant, their connection flared to life, stronger than ever before. Without touching, they could feel each other's thoughts, forming a plan in perfect synchronicity. Thala raised her hands, and instead of attacking, she created a blinding flash of light. Marcus seized the moment, tackling the nearest guard and claiming his weapon. Back to back, they fought their way out, Thala's powers deflecting energy blasts while Marcus provided covering fire. They commandeered a small maintenance vessel from the docking bay, barely escaping as both Terran and Aridani ships opened fire on the station. As they accelerated away, Marcus treated a wound on Thala's arm, his hands gentle despite their harrowing escape. They'll never stop hunting us now, he said grimly. Thala placed her hand over his, initiating their connection. This time she deliberately deepened it, sharing not just thoughts but her very essence. Marcus gasped as their consciousnesses intertwined, boundaries blurring. They created something they can't control, she whispered against his lips. Not a weapon, a bridge. Their bodies came together with the same intensity as their minds, silver blue light enveloping them as the ship hurtled through the darkness of space. In their union, they found something neither had expected, a love that transcended species, biology, and the artificial boundaries of war. Afterward, as they lay entwined, Thala shared her discovery. While connected to their systems, I downloaded files, evidence that both our governments have been perpetuating this war for profit and power. The peace initiatives sabotaged, the diplomatic missions ambushed, all orchestrated by leaders on both sides. Then we need to expose them, Marcus said, new determination filling him. To everyone. The central broadcasting hub of the Galactic Assembly floated serenely in neutral space, its transmitters capable of sending signals simultaneously to all inhabited worlds. It was also one of the most heavily guarded facilities in known space, designed to prevent exactly what Marcus and Thala planned to do. This is insanity, muttered Jace, their reluctant ally, a former communications specialist Marcus had once saved on the battlefield. Even if we reach the core, the encryption alone would take days to bypass. We'll manage, Marcus replied confidently, his eyes meeting Thala's across the shuttle's cabin. Over the months since their escape from Nexus Point, they had gathered allies, disaffected soldiers, displaced civilians, others who questioned the perpetual war. Some were drawn to their cause, others to the rumors of the Starlight couple, as they had become known in whispered tales across the galaxy. What none of these allies knew was how Thala's abilities had continued to evolve, or how deeply her connection with Marcus had grown. When they joined completely, bodies, minds, and the strange energy that flowed between them, they could achieve things neither could alone. As their small fleet approached the broadcasting hub under false credentials, Thala and Marcus retreated to their private quarters for what their crew discreetly called preparation. Are you ready? Marcus asked, taking her luminescent hands in his. Thala nodded, her mercury eyes swirling with determination. They made me more than I was, but they never imagined what we would become together. Their lips met, and the now familiar rush of connection bloomed between them. Their consciousness expanded, merging and strengthening as their bodies joined in perfect rhythm. Silver-blue light enveloped them, so bright it seeped through the walls of their chamber, causing the crew to exchange knowing glances. When the alert came that they had docked, they emerged transformed, both glowing faintly, moving with preternatural synchronicity. The assault on the core proceeded with precision. While their allies engaged security forces in carefully planned diversions, Marcus and Thala moved through the facility, her abilities disabling systems before alarms could sound, his tactical knowledge guiding their path through the labyrinth of corridors. At the transmission core, Jace worked frantically at the controls while Marcus stood guard. Thala placed her hands on the main terminal, closing her eyes as nanites interfaced directly with the system. Impossible, Jace breathed as encryption barriers fell like dominoes. She's processing faster than any AI I've ever seen. Within moments, the evidence they had gathered began broadcasting across all channels, unmistakable proof of the conspiracy that had kept their worlds at war. The truth that could finally bring peace.